better not foul them because they're automatic when they get to the line.
This is not your father's Wisconsin team. I mean, they're scoring 81 points a game. They shoot like 43% of the shots from the three. Those wings are big and athletic. That is a dangerous, dangerous team. Greg Gard, I'm going to say it again. The job he does, everyone, we don't talk about Wisconsin and him. That dude can flat coach.
Max puts it on the deck, locks the dribble to the line, whips it inside. Tanjay slam dunk. Oh, great delivery to Tanjay. He has 25.
The style of play seems to be right up your alley. Is that the case?
Oh, yeah. I love Wisconsin basketball, baby.
Great fight right there from John Tanjay, who had a monster game, 32 in the win at Purdue. Welcome back, Hour 3. Czabe and Butch in the morning. Our pleasure now to welcome on head coach Greg Gard. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Somebody tweeted, if there was a mascot for every guy who put in a hard day at the office, then loosened his tie and had a cold one after work, that guy would be Greg Gard. They had a picture of you on the sideline. Do you endorse that? Do you endorse being that unofficial mascot of a hard day's work?
I do. Somebody sent me that yesterday, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
I love it. Is the tie ever tight, Coach, or does it start loose?
No, it starts tight and it gets loose right as the referee's throwing the ball up. That's when looseness happens.
Get it right away. Okay. All right. So I think everyone has you guys have everyone's attention now. There was some interest before, but now you have people's attention, and there might be more expectations, although I'm going to guess that you guys already had high expectations as a team. So I'll ask this. How does that win Saturday change things for you, if at all?
It doesn't change things at all, really. I think what it does is just, it verifies what I think our team has believed in and what our guys have believed in, and validates that on a national stage that this team's for real. We felt that for a while, and I think we're getting better. And the confidence and the belief and everything that goes on to it or into it is continuing to grow. And Saturday, like I said, was just another step in that process.
Coach, we've talked a lot about just this group and buying in on having the right guys and the culture. Kamari McGee, Carter Gilmore, understanding what it means to be a Badger, wanting to be a Badger, Max Klesmet, and kind of with the evolution of where college basketball is, you guys have doubled down on that a lot. Explain that to people that are kind of new now and just paying attention to college basketball now that we've gotten some new listeners and followers for college basketball.
Well, if you just tuned in, you're starting to watch us now. Shame on you for not watching us for the last 3 months, right?
No question.
But no, I think if you're gonna really utilize the portal, which we have, and we haven't done it, wholesale. It hasn't been a complete roster, but to utilize that, and I think to maximize the potential of that, meaning get the right. Obviously, you got to get really good players, but you have to have a really good fit from a culture standpoint. And in order to maintain and sustain that culture, the guys that you mentioned there, Gilmore, McGee, and Klesmet, in terms of solidifying and holding that culture and embracing that culture, I think that makes the transfer portal world easier to have success in. Obviously, you got to get the right guys coming in. But when you've got a group that has returned and really wants to be here and understands what this place is about, it makes that transition gap for the new guys coming in much easier and much simpler. And I think this group is a great example of that. You've got both. You've got great culture guys and obviously really good players that have been here, but they've helped bridge the gap, so to speak, for newcomers and have kind of shown them the way.
Coach, when you talk about kind of the portal and where college basketball is, it's the reality of where we're at. But you guys have had so much success in the portal, whether it's AJ Storr, John Tanjay, whoever it is, they've come in, they've been a big part of that. And I think overall, you look at making sure you just mentioned making sure you have the right fit. How do you guys go about, processing that, evaluating it to make sure those guys do have such a big fit and then have such a big impact? Because it's a place if you're a transfer, you have to look at Wisconsin and say, I can flourish in this system. I can flourish with these guys and I can flourish, at the university.
Yeah, I think that's something, an area we're learning more and more about all the time, and we talk about it constantly because we know we'll use it again here in the spring. And I think really finding people that are about winning and come from winning programs. Now, not everybody we've had on our roster or even on our roster now has come from a winning program, but what is important to them, what's their makeup. Obviously, you want to make sure they're, obviously academically, socially, everything checks out as them as a person. But really, we found is a huge attribute is, have they been coached? Who have they been coached by? Have they come from winning? And that, because that, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not focused on winning and understand what goes into that from a team concept, it's not going to matter. And we see teams all across the country that have a lot of talent, but the pieces just don't fit together and the results are not good. So I think having people that understand and are about winning and quite frankly, where they're coming from and who they've been coached by is a big piece of, whether they can be successful or not. And we've seen people that have come here, done really well and gone other places and have kind of gone off the track. So I think our system is really, really good. You're going to get coached up if you buy in and listen and work. And our guys have done a tremendous job of that.
Badger head coach Greg Gard joining us here on the program. So Brian was pretty annoyed at the 12th place preseason prediction. Thought it was insulting at the time. Did you take it that way?
No. I just kind of laugh because I never get into the preseason stuff because I couldn't put the teams together. I wouldn't know how to rank them, and if I don't know how would anybody else know how? All I do is what I saw on our court.
Right. You wouldn't know, but 12 is pretty low.
Well, they obviously those people that were ranking hadn't been in our gym, so they're going on what they think they know and what they're looking at what we lost, not looking at what we had in our gym and the newcomers and how the returnees had advanced. And I think, like I said, it's no fault of their own. They just don't know what they don't know.
But it's been no fault at all for the last 20 years too, Coach. But I'll speak loudly on that.
Well, it's
right.
We've all lived that. That's like Groundhog Day. I'm like, okay, really, what they say in October really doesn't matter.
Yeah. I love the pause there, Butchie, from Coach.
Because we've lived it though.
Said more than the no that we get it. Okay,
we've all lived it. Yeah.
All right. So some people, Coach, are shocked that the trench warfare Wisconsin basketball team is now scoring 80 points per game. Walk us through, as laymen, what you did to sort of transform and embrace a different style of play.
Well, the first thing was realize we needed to evolve. And I think that started probably 3 years ago. And we started walking down that road. And it was a very slow walk. Some days it was a crawl. Just knowing where the game was going, watching how the rules changes and emphasis had impacted it, how players, maybe their skill sets, what some other teams were doing, kind of I think the embracing more of the analytics behind it, the numbers behind the madness, so to speak. And then obviously when Kirk Penny came, actually just to visit because he was hanging out in the Dells with his family, a 10-minute conversation led to an hour conversation 2 weeks later and led to a 2-hour conversation 2 weeks after that. And just he had been where I envisioned, where I wanted to go with this offense. I mean, nobody predicted. We didn't come in and say, hey, we have to average 80 points a game. It was just, how can we evolve and become even more efficient, obviously increase the pace some, but the utilization of the ball screens, it's a little different. It's just our spacing's a little different than what we did with the swing. The screening, it's more ball screening than what we did with the swing. But swing was really spacing based. Now our angles of everything and how we utilize the whole court, the corners, the transition piece of it, and you have to have really good players too. I think that can't get lost in the conversation that, and we were doing somewhat of this, like a kindergarten version of this 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And then, last year, maybe we got to be a freshman in high school. And now I think we're kind of like freshmen in college. We're evolving. We're much better than we were at it. We're much more organic and natural and comfortable in it. And it's growing. That's the exciting part. We're still not where we can be as a program. And I think that as we recruit to it even more, and that was a piece of this evolution of making sure we were through the whole portal and who we were recruiting in high school, it had to be very intentional on the pieces and how they fit this system. So it's an exciting system to play in, man. I mean, if you're a player out there, I don't care if you're a guard, and it all correlates to what these guys all want to do after college. They all want to be pros. They all won't be, but this system with the pick and rolls and the transition and the threes puts you in a great learning position and jumpstart into what you want after college in a pro career. So it hasn't happened overnight. I think that everybody thinks this all of a sudden it came out of the sky last night, and it didn't. It's been a like I said, a slow crawl to a walk. Now we're jogging with it.
Yeah, we know the origin story now. Kirk Penny, 3 years ago, in the Dells, probably at Kalahari Water Park, sitting on some lounge chairs, saying, "I think we should shoot more threes." Then it snowballed from there.
Well, he wanted to get out of the Dells because he had been there enough. I think he had too much water in his ears, so he came down to visit me in my office. Too many water slides. He had to take a break from his kids, so he brought it down to Madison for an afternoon.
When you talk about where he had been, Butchie, Kirk Penny, I'm looking at his career history of playing.
Oh, Kirk's played forever. He's a FIBA.
Longer
Matter
than
of fact,
yours.
this year he went into the FIBA Hall of Fame. So Kirk has
been more
great,
places with more team names I can't pronounce than you.
Well, for sure. But what Kirk's done too, and that's one of those things, Coach, is obviously he was with Tony at Virginia for a little bit. COVID happened and he never kind of got back. He ended up buying a diaper bubusiness. And so, I mean, it's how it happens, right? Like those little things, sometimes you need to have it go your way. And I think, Coach, when you look at this, now I know Coach Krabnoff also is one of those guys that was pushed to say, hey, we need to shoot some more threes. We need to be more involved with it. But your foundation hasn't changed, right? Your core principles of what you want. And I think that's what people are forgetting is you're still winning. Like people can change the system and the style of play, but if you don't have that core value of what the program is built on, it's not going to work. So talk and explain to me and everyone else out there the core principle as far as why you can slowly change the style of play, but still keep to the core what Wisconsin basketball is and what you've known. I mean, you've done this now for so long at Wisconsin, but at Milwaukee and with Platteville, with Bo, like you still have your foundation.
Yeah, and I've said forever that it didn't matter what Bo did. He could have run motion offense or anything. It wasn't the swing, and it wasn't he could have played zone. It was what he emphasized, what he demanded, his expectations, how he taught. It was those things that made the system. It wasn't the system that made him. It was the principles behind it, and obviously it starts with you want really good people, and you emphasize some little things. Fundamentals matter. Fundamentals travel. Fundamentals transcend across any type of style of play, and that's offense or defense. I mean, we try not to foul in our man-to-man and minimize fouling. And, we play a little zone this year. We fouled 3-point shooters.
You fouled 3-point shooters way too much during it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's those little things that maybe get glossed over by the general person that are really, we always say it's not what you say, it's what you emphasize. So, and what you're willing to accept. And those things I think have stayed commonplace, and obviously you adjust. And I've kind of come up with this saying. Actually, I did this when I took over. It was like old school philosophies, new school approach. And so you're still anchored to your time tested ways and what's important, but yet you find a little different way to bake the cake, so to speak. So That's really, in a layman's term, what we're trying to do. The cake's coming out looking really good, just like it always has. We just bake it a little bit different.
Well, and you've set that standard, and by the time you get to February, your players have to speak the loudest about that and emphasize that. And after the game, we chatted, and you said, I barely talked in the huddle. It was one of those things that the players talked the most. And I think that's when you know you have a really good team. One last question I've got for you here, Coach, and it's got to do with the Kamari McGee ejection. And we know what the rule is. And based on the way that the rule is, they had to eject Kamari. Now, nobody agrees with it. Nobody in college basketball agreed with it. No one on social media during with it agreed with it. I thought you handled it well as far as afterwards. But how does the NCAA and how does the conferences go about addressing this so that rule can be changed? I know that'll happen in the offseason, but there's some things that they need to look at. They also probably need to look at the goaltending and going back and evaluating that 4 minutes after a goaltend has happened to review. So how does that process happen?
Yeah, it has to go through the rules committee, and we have to be in a rule change year. So, yeah, I mean, nobody agrees with it. And the official Saturday didn't agree with it, but they had to follow what the rule stated, that when there is any type of contact of the groin, it's an automatic F2. It doesn't matter. And even the commissioner of officials called me yesterday morning, and same thing. Doesn't like the rules, working on trying to get it out, but it's not one of those things you can take out overnight. It has to go through the committee, and we have to be in a rule change year. And same thing with the goaltend. So
next year's a rule change year, right? Because this year wasn't.
I think so. I think so.
I know. I'm throwing it. I think it is too.
Frankly, every year should be a rule change year, because why are we waiting? Why are we waiting for something we find that is not working right? But no, they'll get it fixed. I was more upset with all the stuff that was going on the other end, the previous possession. And
there was a lot of contact that possession.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of contact. It was kind of like a Friday night at the bowling alley. The pins were going everywhere.
Yep.
All right, Coach, great visit. Nice to talk with you. Continued success this season. I know you got bigger things in your sights, and we'll look forward to talking to you again down the road.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for the time, Coach.
So Saturday, Wisconsin scored 94 on 61.5% shooting and committed 3 turnovers.
Oh, yeah.
On the road. The Badgers are the only D1 team to shoot 60% and commit 3 or fewer turnovers in a road game in 15 years.
But that's the standards I was talking about, right? You're going to change the style of play, but Greg, he's got his core foundation of what it is. You're going to play defense, or you're not going to turn the ball over. Like those things that he does, those core values, they push through and they carry through, and that's why you're able to have success with the new system. And it's, not necessarily but
515 says the Athletic preseason article had Bucky at 15 in the Big Ten preseason predictions.
Yeah. But it's every year. That's why I'm
Dennis in the Shaw. It was bad enough waking up outside to -1, but then my alma mater, Georgia Tech, is catching strays first thing on a Monday morning. Damn. I love Georgia Tech during the Lethal Weapon 3 era. So much fun.
Was that the 90s team that won the title?
That was the 90s team, yes. With Dennis Scott and who else was part of them? Kenny Anderson. Kenny Anderson, Dennis Scott, and I forget the third guy of Lethal Weapon 3, but they were sick. Had a shot at the title. Came real close with old Coach Cremens back in the day. God, I'm old. Mike Heller will join us next. Heller, his love of replay for all things. God, just keep me away from him on replay today. We got a lot to chat with, and he's coming with us to Sunburn Bowl 6 on Saturday. Not a minute too soon, by the way. It's freezing out there. You're listening to Czabe and Butch in the morning on the game.
The offseason starts now. From free agency, the NFL draft, and more. Count on the Packers flagship for the latest. Your home for the Green Bay Packers is 97.3 The Game.
From the Lynch family of dealerships, Total Traffic Center. Still mess on 894 westbound Warts, a parking lot now from the Metro all the way over to 68th to your right lane to block with the crash. Southbound to 43, heavy from Burleigh to Center with a crash on the right shoulder in both directions of 94, heavy from 35th to Mitchell. I'm Jeremy Scott, and that's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows that with job site delivery as soon as same day, you can get what you need without losing valuable time. They help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes for same-day delivery, subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowes.com/same-day delivery for details.
Brian Butch here. Basketball is my first love, but guess what I love second most? Golf. So let's get you ready for golf season with the best performance apparel on the planet. Now through February 19th. Enter promo code GOLF35 and take 35% off what I call Iron Jock's golf collection of polos, vests, quarter zips, hoodies, and joggers. 4-way stretch, staying wicked, odor eliminating, super relaxed fit to go with your golf swing, not against it. Go to ironjock.com for details. That's ironjoc.com.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Iron Jock Studios. Iron Jock is the official advanced performance gear and apparel worn by the guys on the game. Iron Jock with the most permanent odor protection ever. With fast drying and wicking, anti-static 4-way stretch, cooling, water repellency, and stain blocking. It's performance gear at its best. Learn more at ironjock.com. That's ironjoc.com. Iron Jock. It's what's inside.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance.
Remove the waste that weighs you down. Start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling? Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Grab the contest rules for 97.3 The Game at thegamemke.com.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
A bitterly cold start to our work week with a cold weather advisory in place. Should warm to 8 if you call that warming. Feeling colder with a northwest wind. Wind chills will be in the teens below throughout the day today. Clear and -8 overnight tonight, only 10 tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by eBay. We all got a thing. Yes, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Why would you do that to me? Los Angeles, 2021. A friendly neighbor appears out of nowhere and promises to make all my dreams come true.
Let's not forget that David Bloom was a professional con artist.
But my dreams soon turned into a nightmare. I'm Caroline DeMore. Listen as I take down my scammer on Once Upon a Con on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Once Upon a Con and start listening.
Drew and KB here, inviting smart, good-looking listeners to tune in at 3 o'clock. It's Monday. Game balls, kicks to the balls.
And we'll recap the weekend that was, including the All-Star festivities in the NBA and more spring training workouts for the Brewers.
Join us at 3, Drew and KB.
Why? Why? I don't know why. I don't know. Never been in a fight. You?
No, but that's a good thing.
No, it is not. How much can you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight. I don't want to die without any scars. So come on, hit me before I lose my nerve.
Everybody's throwing down on a Friday night somewhere.
See, that's the difference between us. You think we're fighting, and I think we're finally talking.
You ain't done nothing if you did it.
Mike Heller joins us now. You'll hear him today, noon to 3. Question, Heller, have you filed your expense report from the Super Bowl?
I did.
In our system.
Right away.
Okay.
Yeah. Last
Got
Sunday,
it out of
whatever.
the way.
Yeah, I did
Beautiful.
it right away. I probably screwed it up because ours has got a complicated system, but I did it
It's
immediately.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I did some pre-work where I got all the receipts, I stapled them to individual pieces of paper.
Oh, look at you go.
Well, I don't
You
like
know,
a
you
big
can just
pile,
take
messy
pictures
pile.
of them or scan them, and so you
That,
don't need
that's what I did. I
all
took
that,
pictures of
right?
them, sent them to myself, downloaded them. Boom, done.
Are you am I the only guy that's outraged? Outraged? Outraged?
Yes.
Outraged. Am I the only
I don't
guy
even
that's
need to answer
outraged by the
yes.
fact? Okay, fine, probably. Have you noticed how receipts now are printed in disappearing ink?
Yeah, that's why you got to take pictures of them right away.
Yeah.
How is this acceptable? This is a trick that they want to play on us consumers. They want to thwart us high return guys by going, if you just put this in your wallet and fold it,
you can't tell.
No, and the thing is, you know, a couple of the walkthroughs. I went to Shake Shack a couple of times. No printed receipt, email receipt.
Email. I like that.
So much better.
Yeah, I
email
like it.
receipts, text
Yeah.
receipts. That is the easiest way when you have to upload or download onto the expense report. That is that's a win right there. When
What
you
the
get
hell are
those.
you going to Shake Shack for, man?
That's
They
right
had a
across
heart
the street
attack.
from the hotel. Huh?
Man, they had a heart attack eating a big old greasy burger a couple of times. I mean,
you think
And
that the
look
heart
here,
attack
Georgia,
means
and
I
you're a
only
son.
eat
You worry about your
greens
own heart,
the rest of my
okay?
life?
I mean, I thought that's what that means. Yeah.
Stop.
I mean,
it's not a death sentence.
What's the matter with you?
Plus, it was a small heart attack.
Oh,
Anyway,
here
so
we go.
Mike Keller joins us.
Here
now.
we go.
Here we go.
Here we
I
go.
knew it was coming.
A small heart attack is one that happens to somebody else.
Uh-huh.
A major heart
Yeah.
attack
I
is
was
when
gonna
it's
say-
you.
Right. Good
That's
point.
the key difference right there. So the reason that I asked this about the receipts is because where was I going with this?
Well, I don't know.
had-
You're
I
a
had-
receipt keeper when it comes to, you know, what you wanted to stay away from when you come back from break, because you
Oh.
keep all receipts on.
I do keep
replays.
all receipts. I know. I'm always keeping receipts. No, here's the reason I asked the receipts. So I had all my receipts pre-organized. I even did a little spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And then I go log on to Concur, the software app by the company, and it says system is not working right now. Check back later.
Check back later.
I'm like, you can't do this to me.
No.
I'm liquored up on a Saturday night. I got my receipts all here. I want this out of my hair now. Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet I couldn't do it.
And then you couldn't do it.
Here's what's even worse. Peter Schrager of NFL Network and
Yeah.
CBS had to pay his own way to the Super Bowl because the NFL refused to send him or any of his coworkers on Good Morning Football. Wow. The NFL, Mike.
So
said,
Good Morning
yeah.
Football wouldn't have been there otherwise? Like if the guys don't
They weren't
decide
there.
to pay it out of their own pocket? Oh, they weren't
They
there.
said do the regular show from the studio. Think about that. Peter Schrager had to pay his own money. The NFL.
Dude,
they
he
so
was-
want to dump. They want to dump that whole channel on ESPN. They're like, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy
But
this?
he was one of the leads on the field for media night on Monday night at Caesars Superdome. He did player intros, and then he was on the field. You know how
For
they had it.
Fox.
Pardon?
Because Fox had him there. It was a Fox Super Bowl. So he does
Right.
double duty.
Well, how would he have to pay if he was there doing that stuff? Somebody's paying for it.
Well, maybe the story was he paid for it last year.
He said he was told a
the
week or
NFL
two in
said.
advance that Good Morning Football from NFL Network was not going to be sent to the Super Bowl in Las
Okay.
Vegas. Well, this
In
is
Vegas,
Oh,
yeah,
Las
this is-
Vegas. Yeah.
last year.
Okay,
Last
a
year, he
ago.
paid
Yeah.
for his own way.
Yeah, because he was on the field doing player interviews, you know,
Okay.
because
Right.
inside the barricade, he had to be special to get inside, and there were only a few, and he was one of them. So
Yeah.
a year
Well,
ago,
just-
wow, it's
that-
crazy.
Right. Never
Crazy.
underestimate sometimes how cheap corporate America can be.
can
You'd think
be,
the NFL,
that's
with the
right.
billions it makes, would happily send their morning show on their own network to the Super Bowl, but even they were like, yeah.
You know,
So
I was
my
I
Shake
was-
Shack expense gets
Yeah.
turned down.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
right.
more philosophic about it.
You know, Saturday might have been one of my favorite. It might have been in my top 5, maybe top 3 of sports days on the entire calendar over the
It was
last 12
fun.
months. How good was that? The Wisconsin-Purdue was a great college basketball game. Better on our end, you know, than Laura
Than their
Sarian's
end.
end, right?
Yes.
Somebody from the Sarian household owes me a pizza, and I tweeted at Armin on Saturday. I don't know who owes me the
And
pizza.
heard
You or
crickets,
Lara,
right? You heard
and
crickets.
no, he got back to me. He said it will be a household expense. So somebody from the Sarian household is paying me a pizza on Saturday. But you followed that up with, I think, the best televised non-major. I'm talking about like a Super Bowl or a championship game in the Final Four. Saturday night's hockey game was epically entertaining.
It was.
It
I want to get
was
to that in a
so
second.
good.
I want to get to that in a second, but you're
Yeah.
skipping over a couple things.
Yeah.
You had 1 versus 2 in hoops, but Southern Fried style in the SEC, Bama and Auburn. That was a really good game, and Auburn took care of business there. You had a bunch of other good college basketball games that were with 2 ranked teams mixed in as well. You had Oberg, Scheffler, and Rory in the first page of the leaderboard on the PGA Tour, even though Tiger was not playing. That was a nice side note there. And then the hockey game. The hockey game was amazing. Go.
Yeah, just even from the anthems and then to the opening 9 seconds of the game, I didn't see it. I mean, I didn't see it happening. I saw it live. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know who anticipated it. I don't know who.
Kachuk boys said prior to the game they decided this
as
is
soon
how
as they
wanted
saw
to
the
start.
starting lineups posted, somebody said, "I want him," and then it was arranged. Now I don't know who the ABC ESPN announcer was in between the benches, but that dude is so good because he said
Was it
after
Pierre
the
McGuire?
first one, I don't know if it was.
Sean
it could have
McDonough
been.
called it, and I'm a huge
Sean
Sean
McDonough was
McDonough
great.
fan.
Yeah.
He's great. Yep.
But the
Ray
announcer
Ferraro.
between the
Ray
Ferraro,
okay.
he called the second one. He said, "We're going to go again.
We're going to go again.
Because I heard it being set up. We're going to go again here as soon as they drop the puck again." And some people are new school and don't like fighting in hockey. I'm not one of those guys. I thought it was great. I thought the drama was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those I would have paid to be in that house.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was special. And then the USA played a great game. But the hockey in this tournament, even though I'm not a P1 hockey guy, the hockey in this tournament is incredible. The speed, the precision, the power.
They're
and these
playing
guys
all
are
out.
playing all out. No kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get them to do that in our other sports for their all-star thing. It's not going to happen in basketball. It's not going to happen in football. Maybe it can only happen in hockey and baseball because baseball could adopt.
Is
this.
LeBron is LeBron the one to blame for the NBA?
No, I think money is to blame in the NBA.
And LeBron.
Sure.
Zabe says LeBron because
No,
he started
LeBron-
the culture now and made it
You
okay
chart
to
when the All-Star game started going south. It was the rise of LeBron. The fact he's the face of the league and he pulls douchebag moves like last night.
But it started
I'm not gonna
going
play.
south kind of at the same time in the Pro Bowl, didn't it? I mean, the Pro Bowl actually used to be a game where they would play
Yeah.
and hit one another. And, you know, it's don't you think it's the generation, not
Look, all
individual?
these All-Star games are suffering from sports being too big, too full of money. Everyone's making too much money. It's too popular. But there's a couple things that still stir the passions, and it usually has to do with your country's flag, and that's why hockey works. These guys don't want to look like clown shoes for their country, which is very proud of. We produce these guys. This is the style we play. The World Baseball Classic is similar. The only difference is it's not necessarily, quote, best on best, because you don't have all MLB rosters in the WBC.
Yeah, and if you did that during the Major League Baseball season, the shutdown would be longer than Sunday to Friday.
It would be unacceptable to the baseball fans to
Yeah,
shut
you'd
it down.
almost have to shut baseball down in the middle of the season for 2 weeks.
Right.
In order
They
to-
also didn't like
Yeah.
the Mets closer blowing out his elbow playing in
Correct.
that thing.
Yeah.
So Edwin
Sure.
Diaz going down for the year was not good. My Astro buddy didn't like the fact that Altuve got plunked on the wrist and missed a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, but they want to play in this thing, and I've had guys who
Yeah.
have been to the World Baseball Classic and say it's an amazing experience. You're meeting people from all kinds of different countries that are into their baseball teams and their players, and it's friendly. There's not fights in the stands.
But this
a
is
cool
also
thing.
comes from greed from the owners. These owners don't want this.
Well, they don't want
These-
their guys exposed.
They don't want
to
their
it
guys
when
doing
they
anything
have-
that they're not doing for them. I mean, this is
Correct.
greed
Yep.
from the owners.
Yes.
And what the owners don't understand is that the owners, this helps grow the game more. So you'll make more money.
Well,
but they don't want to
remember-
allow their guy go do other things. And that's the problem. That's the problem with these billionaires that own these teams that think it's just about them. They're selfish. They don't understand it. They'll never understand it.
Butch,
And
the-
it's
the
more than it's
player-
bigger than
if-
LeBron.
if the player, if you want to talk about it from a hoop standpoint, the player stopped playing. The owner didn't have something to do with that.
For the
player
All-Star
stopped
game,
playing.
but they've had other different things. I
Well,
mean,
but here's the thing.
Olympics
I
and
get it with
World
other different things, but with the
Basketball and-
All-Star game, I can't blame
Correct.
the owners. I got to blame the players.
Yeah. When
They
when
stopped
when
playing.
Giannis
I'm
when
just saying
Giannis was
world
playing
stuff, right?
1-on-5 this summer in the Olympics,
Yeah.
I did not like that.
Yeah.
That's my point.
A lot of Bucks
Because-
fans didn't like it.
But
It's not just the owner though, Butchie. It's the
Right.
fan base that doesn't want your guy exposed to it.
Then they better not
fan-
complain.
there-
Then they
but
better not
there's a-
complain about the product being bad.
I know, but the
these
fan
times.
base hated that Giannis was playing in.
That's
in
because the fan base also loves Bobby Portis, Mike Heller, for crying out loud. And the fan base doesn't know half the junk that's going on.
Okay, but also it was Giannis playing 1-on-5 with a bunch of future Euro makers and sub shop owners in the Olympics on a nightly basis. It's not too much to ask, right, Mike, that pros play hard for 20 minutes of their 40
we all agree
minutes
on that.
allotted.
That we
Yeah, they just you hope
not a
that they.
hard ass.
But the passion comes from inside, and do they want to play hard? Like you tell them to play hard is one thing, but do they truly want to? What are they?
No.
What are they trying to showcase? They're making their money. They're
You know
doing
where-
their things,
Yeah.
and they'll do it for their team. And really, from an NBA standpoint, they'll do it for their team at that level after April 15th.
You know where
when
players in the
when it
NBA
matters.
play hard for games that aren't real games, Butchie? It's in a summer run at a high league gym that has a lot of college and pro guys. They want to get their run in. When if you lose, you're off the court. You go to
There's
one of
some
those
of
gyms out there in Westwood or places like that, and you see some NBA guys sprinkled in. They're playing hard
I also
because the
think,
last thing they want to do is go sit down and wait for the next game.
but I also think
Am I wrong?
it's the length of the season too. Like, I mean, it does. You're having these guys play back to backs, and that goes back to the owners, in my opinion, of just trying to.
Oh God, have you seen their salaries?
I have.
Well, then they should STFU. And if they need a bigger mug of STFU, then I'll get them a bigger mug. The
But
length of
the
the season.
salaries,
The season's been 82 games since Oscar Robertson and
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
It's no
Yeah.
longer.
And I understand that. I'm just saying some of it is just based on, and I think you've got the recovery part of it, where you've got more of the medical side that's come in and listened, and which they're probably not wrong. I mean, I think you look at this. I mean, LeBron, he's 40 and he's still playing at a high level. Part of that is because of the approach that he's taken. Now, is that right or wrong for the game?
He says
I
he
don't know.
spends $1 million a year on his body.
Yeah, I'm
but
sure.
his ankle
I
was
don't
sore.
doubt it.
His ankle was sore, so he couldn't give you 12 minutes of half-assed play last
Chris Paul is still playing too.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, there's
I got news for you. Last night I watched 0 NBA. I watched
Oh, you
SNL
should've, though.
50 from beginning to end, and it
How
was
good was it?
really good.
Okay.
It was.
I'm
really
going to watch
good.
the SNL 50.
Never
I'm
turned
going
it
to
on.
watch the SNL 50, but Mike, if you watch some of the NBA All-Star game, it's a train wreck. You can't turn away from
Yeah.
it. It's so bad.
I had to
so
wait up
many
for the
ways.
recycle of the second Sports Center after 11 or after midnight Eastern time. But after 11 to it was 11:30, I think, before they re-racked Sports Center and really showed the NBA All-Star highlights, and then Daytona. because I needed to see those things because once or call Billy to say, hey, what happened at Daytona?
What happened?
I watched Daytona. Don't worry. In between, when they had the rappers on there, in between, when they were taking breaks instead of just playing, Mike, they played for 42 minutes. I watched all 42 minutes, but it was on TV for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem. It was on for 3 hours. They played for 42 minutes. I watched all 42 minutes, but in between, I wasn't going to watch the garbage. I did. I watched the 100,000 shot beat Dame, Mr. Beast.
Well, that was
thing.
pretty
What are
cool
we doing?
because this nerdlinger hit the 3 to win the 100 G's from Mr. Beast. Do you even know who Mr. Beast is, Butchie?
Of course, he does all the YouTube
Just
stuff.
ask
He
him.
puts.
You just defended Butch.
That is
did.
insulting. I don't even
started
know who
watching
Mr.
these
Beast
videos
is,
at-
Butch. I might
at-
be.
at- Okay.
Yeah,
At first,
Kermit,
I was
but
like,
come
I
on.
knew him, and I watched about a dozen of his videos, and then I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this guy.
I mean, he built water or wells.
He
in
built
Africa.
water.
Water.
Who's building
Yes,
water?
he built wells
to
in
get the
Africa,
water.
and guess what he got for that?
2 hydrogen,
People
1
criticizing
Yelled at.
him.
Yelled
He got yelled at for it because he didn't do it the right way
Yep.
or in the right places.
Yep.
No good deed goes unpunished. Mike, do you have your goggles and flip flops packed for?
Yeah,
Saturday?
I should be ready. I set out. Do guys set out outfits? I set out outfits. Yeah, Kari and I would kind of went through.
Nice,
Well,
you
what are
laid
you
them
going to
all
wear?
out.
What are you going to wear? What are you going to wear?
Sure.
Well, I wear shorts and a t-shirt all day.
You
but
didn't
then
match, did you?
Not with Kari.
Okay,
Other
I
than
just
one
wanted to
night.
make sure.
We got a Jamaican night.
No, that's fine. I
I
just
was
want to
going to
make
say,
sure
should
you
I
don't
order?
match with
Should
your
I
wife.
order my Rasta hat with dreads for Jamaican night?
Well,
or
if
is
you
that
haven't ordered it
culturally-
already, you better get
well,
on it.
Amazon
Yeah.
Prime now.
Well,
Let's go
that's right.
Prime.
Prime
By the way,
Can
hey,
can I wear it or is that cultural appropriation?
I
I need to
don't
know.
I don't know the answer.
Prime now.
Prime
Give
now.
it to me now.
Give me a fake dreadlock Rasta hat now, Amazon.
Hey, Luke
All right.
Fickle's on the show today at 12:20. I got the football coach, Luke
Nice.
Fickle. If you've heard of him, he'll join us live at 12:20 today.
Just drop in there. Say, hey, do what guards do.
Yeah, you watching what
football.
Gardo's doing?
Yeah, do what guards doing, but with football. We're good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look forward to hearing that.